Points for spotting a little monkey back there who is having a nose in the games cupboard. Yes, I'm talking about you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's a Monday morning. My kitchen is a complete state, so I thought I would film a cleaning video. I'm gonna keep it completely real and show you exactly what it looks like at the moment. We've just had a weekend, obviously, with the kids at home and my husband at home, who tends to make more mess than they do. I also thought I would try out, I've recently discovered MrsHinchHome on Instagram, and I'm really late to the party. I'm sure all of you already follow her. But she was recommended to me by my friend SJ, who I did a favourites video collaboration with. If you haven't already seen that, I will link it up here. But she was one of SJ's favourites for the month of August. This is a really long-winded story, isn't it? But basically, I discovered her via SJ, and now I'm hooked. And Mrs. Hinch does something called a clockwise clean. And it seems like such an obvious thing to do, but it's really never occurred to me to start at one point and move clockwise around the room and just clean as you go. So I thought that was a genius idea. So I'm going to be trying out Mrs. Hinch's clockwise clean method in my kitchen, and it really does need it. So I will show you quickly what it looks like before. So this little area in the corner doesn't really get used a great deal, but it's just in need of a good dust. Then moving on to this disaster zone. What do you have to say for yourself? That cushion, for a start, is from Primark, and it's just unraveling, so I really am going to chuck that away. I've been meaning to throw it away for weeks. I started doing it recently, but it's just got a bit daft now, and there's bits falling off it all the time, so it just needs to go. This bag has been left here because I was doing some sorting out of old baby clothes, and that's one that I've emptied, so I just need to find a home or something to keep in that bag. We have a school tie, we have a coffee cup, we have a random boxing glove and a local news publication. A little bit of cereal on the rug from Marnie walking around. Marnie's toys. Then remotes, games console, my breakfast stuff. Excuse the very marked tablecloth where Aiden decided to colour all over it. I need to order a new one. Marnie's play kitchen, which I think Marnie should clean, to be quite honest. Are you going to clean your own kitchen? I've got my own to do. Then over here is just a disaster. I have a bag of kids' clothes that I need to sort through, nappy bag, just kids' stuff, pyjama top. Does anyone else do this? Make piles of paperwork and just hide them behind things. So I'm attempting to hide it behind a letter, like a light box thing, but it's just a mess. This is the bane of my life. It is a cake stand that's just ended up becoming a home for random stuff, and I hate it. Ooh, fibre. Dan's iPod from his run yesterday, my laptop that I was doing some work on earlier, and just loads of wires. Recycling to go out, washing up to put away. And this is all because of this. I've actually already prepped and am slow cooking our dinner for tonight, so at least I've done that. But I do need to clear up after myself, put the wine away, wash up the pans, and that's about it. The rest of the kitchen is pretty, no, who am I kidding, it's a big old mess. And that pram can go out of the way because Marnie is awake from her nap now. Are you gonna help me? Let's do this. Hey Google, play. So I'm starting with the sideboard in the corner of the room, and that's pretty tidy. Nothing really tends to get used over the side of the room, so I just need to give it a good dust over. As you can see, I've got a little helper. This is the first time she's actually tried to help me with the cleaning, and it's the cutest thing. She stood there for ages with the duster and just dusted the doors while I got on with tackling the other side of the room. This area of the kitchen tends to get quite cluttered because we keep Marnie's toys over here, and I've got into a really bad habit of just shoving everything behind the sofa and the chair into that corner, and it doesn't take long for everything to mount up, which I really hate. So I was just taking the opportunity to go through it all, take out the things that she doesn't play with very often, move things back upstairs that should be up there, and just try and keep everything to one small toy box which can live neatly in the corner as opposed to everything spilling out from behind the sofa. I also wanted to give the sofa and chair a bit of a wipe down with my method spray. Then I pulled out the chair and the sofa to hoover behind. My Hoover actually got blocked at this point, so I had to stop to unblock it. It could do with a really good clean actually, and I know Emily Norris has made a video about how to clean the Dyson handheld Hoovers, so I'll have to go and check that out and give mine a good clean because it definitely needs it. So once I've unblocked the Hoover, I can carry on with hoovering the rug and underneath it as best I can when the baby's sitting on top of it, before moving on to the other side of the kitchen. This is obviously where we sit to eat all of our meals and the kids do their homework and any craft bits and pieces there. So this tends to get quite cluttered as well. So I just wanted to clear the table of stuff and give it a good wipe down before moving on to Marnie's toy kitchen. She plays with this every single day. She loves taking the food out of the little oven in the cupboards, and I don't love putting it all back again, but she loves it so much that I don't really mind. So I pulled it away from the wall just to hoover behind there and found a giant spider. So once I've got rid of him, I just give the TV a bit of a dust, pick up any bits and pieces that I might have missed. Try and tidy up the wires behind the TV as well because I hate how messy they look. It wasn't long before Marnie decided to pull everything out of the kitchen again, but never mind. Now moving on to the actual kitchen side of the room. This little area here with the sort of breakfast bar has got really out of control, and I've just accumulated things there over the last couple of months. I hate that I do that, it drives me up the wall, and I really have to break myself of the habit because it doesn't take long for things to really spiral out of control. So I just decided to pull everything off all the surfaces, give everything a good clean, and just put back the bare minimum. It looks so much better, and I just much prefer everything being clutter free. This little bookshelf tends to collect bits and pieces as well. I've got my memory cards for my camera up there and a random Allen key and Lego figure, so I'm just giving that a good wipe down as well before moving on to the washing up. So once I've put everything away, I just make my way around the work surfaces, wiping them down, and the hob as well. Then it's time to tackle the windowsill, which is another area that sometimes gets cluttered, so I'm just pulling everything off there and wiping that down too. And finally, moving on to the top of the fridge. It's amazing how much dust collects really quickly on top of the fridge. Then my last job is to hoover through the kitchen and the living area of the kitchen. And last but not least, I give the floor a good mop. So I'm all done. I did get a bit carried away and I've ended up spending nearly 2 hours doing it, and I originally intended to spend an hour, but something about doing it clockwise really worked for me and motivated me to do more than I'd originally intended. So I was pulling out all the sofas and going behind stuff and decluttering at the same time as cleaning. So although it took me longer and I wouldn't normally spend that long doing the kitchen, I'm glad that I did, and I feel really, really good now I've done it, and it looks so much better. So I will show you how I did and what it all looks like now. So not a lot has changed here, it's just had a good dust. This area was probably more decluttering than cleaning. As you can see, the toys are sorted out. I tend to leave those couple down here for Marnie because she plays with them a lot, and I've also organised all of her downstairs toys into one box, which is behind here, and I've had a good clean behind the sofa. And this area just looks so much better, I can't believe it. I'll show you a bit closer. So I've got rid of all the clutter from here and taken away anything that I can potentially hide things behind in the future, because I figure if those things aren't there, then I can't hide stuff behind them. So I've cleared them all away. I wasn't intending to do the windowsill, to be honest. I was going to leave it even though it was quite cluttered, but I thought while I was at it I might as well, and I'm so glad I have now. I gave it a good clean as well. And then that's the rest of the kitchen. Apart from my slow cooker, which is still cooking tonight's dinner, everything is nice and clear and clean, even the top of the fridge. So I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out MrsHinchHome on Instagram. I'm sure she's got about 3 billion followers, so I'm sure you already have heard of her, but if you haven't, do go and have a look if you're in need of some cleaning inspiration and motivation. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video for more like this, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!